Hey guys, and welcome back.
And if you're new here, thanks for joining us today.
So today we're doing another product review from the products that we used while we went on the 35-day truck camping adventure. And this might be one of my favorite products. Lou did a lot of research to find this particular product.
The story of my life. So, Angie talking about the Setpower 12-volt fridge. And again, I don't want to sound redundant or like a broken record, but it was a game of inches.
Yes. I mean, in our case, we were building our truck bed camper, and a lot of you guys already have certain space that you have in mind. So for you, it's going to be a game of inches too. But we wanted to make sure we maximize as much of our space as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much say that I designed the truck camper around the products.
Yeah, she did. She really did. She first lined up all the different products and then started doing the designs, and then found other products and started tweaking the designs. Yeah.
I mean,
entirely.
nothing was ever etched in stone because nothing can ever be. Life is in a constant flux. So I was trying to figure out what we thought we needed in there and how we would fit it in there. And for us, as you know, food is very important. Food is very important for everybody, but our diet and what we eat and how we eat it and how it's prepared, it's extremely important to both of us. So having a fridge that would hold a certain amount of food for a certain amount of days and that would fit over the wheel well of the truck and wouldn't be too wide that it would take away too much of the bed space was the trickery. And so I decided on the Setpower 21 quart 12-volt fridge.
So my mentality behind it was, okay, well, we can typically keep food cold but not frozen, like thawed out, in the fridge for about 3 days before you have to cook it and eat it. So that was my mindset. I needed that fridge to be big enough to hold anywhere from 3 to 4 days worth of food for the both of us. And this fridge was spot on with that sizing. Not just necessarily the meats for like dinner, let's say the meats and any lunch items, snack items, drinks, but for the both of us.
The most important part of this is not that the fridge was holding the amount of food that we needed for 3 days or a running 3 days. Was it Angie was playing Tetris. So like, if it would have been me, I would have probably had a hard time fitting in enough food. But Angie was very good at figuring out what we were going to eat first, what we were going to eat last, what needed to be refrigerated the most, which had to go at the bottom, and the sizes. She would buy items, take them out of the packaging, repackage them in Ziploc baggies, and then arrange them in a way that it would fit inside the fridge. So while the fridge was a great idea because it fit over the wheel well of the truck, the mastermind behind the food lasting X amount of days and behind us having enough food while we were traveling and food and snacks was Angie.
Well, guys, Ziplocs, make them your best friend. Even in the RV, I use them all the time. While Tupperwares are great, many a times you can save so much more space and pack up more things if you just put those items in a Ziploc bag. Spaghetti, stick it in a Ziploc bag. Not a big deal. When you eat it the next day, you just take it right out of there, put it in your plate, warm it up. That's just an example. But putting things in Ziplocs instead of Tupperware does save a lot of space. But anyways, that's talking about spacing. One of the great things about this particular fridge also is that you can make it either freezer or fridge.
Right.
Now there's many out there in the market that gives you both features, but then it's much bigger.
Right.
Much bigger. And that part is what we could not compromise. We couldn't compromise the space.
Right. We couldn't have one that had 2 compartments, a freezer compartment and a fridge compartment, because it would take up too much space. And it wasn't so much the longitude of the space that I was worried about, but the width.
Right.
Because the wider it got, the less sleeping area we had. So that was what I was contending with. And the biggest fridge that I found, and also in terms of reasonably priced, okay, this is a Setpower. This is not a Dometic. So we did not pay $900 for it. We did not pay $1,200 for it. This is a Chinese knockoff brand that is highly rated by Bob Wells and Cheap RV Living. And so a lot of the small things that I looked at, I went to Cheap RV Living and I went to see what kind of products they were using, because he does a lot of reviews for very small areas, you know, minivans and people that are car camping, you know. So I found this particular fridge on one of his videos. I did the research, and the other thing is that on Amazon, this had a coupon. It had a $50 coupon at the time that we were ordering it. So we got it for a lot less than the retail price.
That's nice.
So when you put it all together, it just worked perfectly for us. And it's a 12 volt. And in another video, we'll do a review on our Jackery. As you guys know, the Jackery has a 12 volt plug. So the refrigerator would plug directly into the 12 volt, and it worked seamlessly. Thank you. Seamlessly. Also, it takes up very little power.
Yes.
It takes about 3 or 4 amps.
Running continuously. And then every time it like kick on,
no,
was like
it's the other way
5.
around. It's the other way around.
Really?
Yeah, it goes.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just remember every so often when I'd peek into the Jackery, I always saw like 2 coming out of it. It would say like 2 watts. And I was like, oh, so little.
So what it does is that when you first connect it, it comes all the way up to, it takes about 20 to 30 amps. And then once it cools down, it basically just shuts off.
Okay.
And when the temperature starts to drop, it kicks in again. And it takes about 4 amps at that point to just, and then it goes back up at the temperature, and then it drops down again to 0, and it keeps doing that. It keeps cycling over and over and over again, but it takes up very, very little. So that's another plus for us.
Yeah. And there's, in fact, Lou watches some of these channels, but there's a lot of you guys out there that do like, what is it called? Like I don't know, something about like camping and catch and cook, something like that. So if you're one of those type of people that do catch and cooks, or you're out camping and fishing, you're specifically going out to hunt or fish. That's what I should say. You can go ahead and set this to freezer instead of fridge. So like that you can keep your meats or your fish frozen and, you know, I guess maintained better for longer periods of time. We preferred fridge because we weren't just taking food to cook, but, you know, our milk or creamer for the coffee or butter, things of that sort. So we use it in fridge setting all the time, but it does have freezer setting for those of you that prefer that. You can do that.
It's basically temperature controlled. So it goes all the way to 4 Fahrenheit.
Really low.
And it comes up all the way to 55 Fahrenheit. So usually your refrigerator runs around the 30s, 32, 37, 38, somewhere in there. And I had it set at the lowest setting, which was 32. So it was a very cold refrigerator. And I did that on purpose. A couple of times I dropped it down to 30, but I usually maintained it at 32. So it was a very, very cold fridge, and nothing ever spoiled. Nothing
ever spoiled. Nothing went bad. Nothing melted. It was perfect. So we weren't only just using this during our camping trip. You can also use this as a backup fridge, which is something we are doing now. We're back in the RV, and since we have the solar connected on the truck permanently at this point, the Jackery's in there and that fridge connected to the Jackery, and that fridge is running all day long. So anytime we have a small fridge here in the RV, anytime I buy more stuff than needed, for example, a bag of kale takes up like more than half of one of my shelves here in the fridge. A lot of space. And I thought I'd try to pack it down and like with a Ziploc bag kind of get as much air out as possible. It still takes a lot of space. So we are taking advantage of that fridge as Lou's trying to get Lexi to come up because she's staring at us. We use that little fridge inside the truck as our backup fridge. So if we go to the store, there's a buy one get one free deal. I can take advantage of that and go ahead and put something in there. We get a lot of produce because it's also on special, or it's something that's bulky. we can put it in there. So I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it still to this day.
Yeah.
Having stuff out in the truck that I can go and get extra supplies as needed.
And we changed our fridge in the RV when we did the remodel. We changed it from an RV fridge to a regular, I guess you could call it a dorm fridge. But our fridge has a freezer, a separate freezer from the refrigerator, two-door refrigerator. The freezer's pretty large, right?
I think it's very large. I can literally have, now for two, so think about in terms of steaks or pork chops, it's going to be packed in Ziploc bags, 2 each bag. I can put 8 days of meats in there, as well as I put 4 and 8 days of frozen veggie bags inside that tiny little freezer.
So if we wanted to buy in bulk, let's say we went to Costco and the BJ's, went to one of those places, and we wanted to buy some frozen foods in bulk, we could turn the Setpower, which is a 21 quart, not sure if I mentioned that before, into a freezer, and we could also have things that are frozen in there.
Right.
So now, we have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so this I would say is probably my favorite product that we got for this truck camping adventure.
You can't say that. You said that about the stove.
Did I? Did I say that about the stove, you guys?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So the stove is my second favorite product. In case you saw that video. And this is my first favorite product.
Anything with food and cooking is her favorite.
Yes, I'm all about cooking. It has a digital screen. So on the screen you can see what temperature it's at. So you can always press the little plus sign to bring it up or the minus sign to bring it down. It is pretty sensitive, that I will say, because there were a couple of times with the truck camper being so small, that was part of my, night table area. So with Lexi sleeping next to me, I would put my drink or my phone or her toy would fall up there. And if something touched that plus or minus, even at the most gentle touch, it would change. And there were a couple of times that Lou would look at the screen and be like, "Hey, it says 50. Did you change?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I must have touched it. I'm sorry." So we would have to go back and bring it down, and it'd go down in no time. From 50 to 35 or 32, it went down in no time. But it is very sensitive, so I do want to throw that disclaimer out there.
It is. Sometimes it was turned off, actually.
Yeah.
It is a touch screen. That's why it's so sensitive, because it's a touch screen. It's not a push button. It's a very sensitive touch screen, and it also has echo mode. So if you want to economize your power, you can just turn that button on, and now it's going to suck less power.
So besides being able to charge it through that cigarette lighter thing that she called, I forgot what
12
they're called,
volts.
12 volts. It also comes for you to be able to charge it.
It doesn't.
How was it that you charged? Because you have that little adapter.
I bought the adapter.
Okay, so scratch that. Lou has this little adapter, which I don't know if we have it in our Amazon store. If not, I will get her to put that on there.
It's a 12 volt adapter to a wall plug. That's all it is. And so what I decided to do is I wanted to buy that because I wanted to be able to plug it outside of the RV if I wanted to, or to pre-cool it if I was taking it somewhere, pre-cool it a couple of days before. I wanted to be able to use it in different ways.
Right. I mean, that little thing, and that's a completely different product, but I think it's great also, if she's driving and I want to work on the passenger seat while she's driving, I can plug my laptop into that while that's plugged into the cigarette lighter. But off topic, make sure you get yourself one of those little things, so when you get your Setpower for the first time, you can go ahead and get it nice and cold from the comfort of your home or anywhere you have a regular outlet. So you can charge it up, get it cold, and then put it wherever it is that you're going to put it, and put the food in it, so that you're not slowly bringing it down to temperature. It would already be there.
Exactly.
That's my tip. At least that's what we did. And that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say about this fridge.
No, except that we love it.
We love it. It's very easily to get cleaned inside. It's almost like I don't even know the material,
inside, like an
insulation.
It's like the inside of a cooler,
basically. And it's very durable. It's very sleek and clean and modern looking. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this product review, please give us a big thumbs up. Let me know how you're cooling your stuff while you're out on the road and exploring.
Yeah. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button right now. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time we upload a video. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.